Hello and welcome to the Animation Triad. To the Animation Triad. Welcome.
Hello and welcome to Animation Triad, your guide to the many worlds of animation. I, of course, am your humble host, Stu, and with me, as usual, is...
Teddy D.
That's right, and today we wrap up our Dream Month review with a look at 2006's Paprika.
Word to the wise, this is a Satoshi Kon film, so strap in, initiates, because this is going to get weird.
Mm-hmm. Before we get started, just a little reminder. Do you like anime? Do you like cartoons? If so, then we've got a show for you. That's right. Click like, subscribe, and follow for more awesome reviews of obscure anime, cartoons, and animated movies from around the world. It's what we do here. And as usual, today we are going to be touching on three main talking points for our review. The first being the many interpretations of this film, Paprika. The second being is Inception, the Christopher Nolan film, a ripoff of Paprika. And third, and finally, this is, of course, the final work of Satoshi Kon, and we will be discussing that fact and his legacy. So, we hope you enjoy, and let's begin.
So, the movie we're looking at today, as we've mentioned several times, is Paprika. It was made in 2006. It's a Japanese science fiction anime film, and it was co-written and directed by Satoshi Kon.
Yes, that is true, yes.
Based on a novel by...
This guy right here, we're not even going to attempt to say his name. Great author, will say that.
Yes.
It's based off his 1993 novel by the same name. Quite a few of this writer's films actually have been made into other animes, such as The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. I think there's one other one, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. And now, how would you describe the synopsis of this film, if you would?
It is an interesting journey through the mind, the dreams, and just a roller coaster of a mindfuck.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
But how does IMDb sum this up? Well, according to them, when a machine that allows therapists to enter their patients' dreams is stolen, all hell breaks loose. Only a young female therapist, Paprika, can stop it. Not the worst synopsis we've gotten from them. No, it's fairly straightforward. It leaves a lot to the imagination, which is nice, because there is a lot of imagination in this film, and it's one of the reasons why I like it.
Oh no, it was very interesting. And me being a non-anime guy, I thoroughly enjoyed this film.
This was a very big surprise for me. I saw this film right around the time it came out in 2006. I had just about a year or two away from graduating from high school, and I saw a trailer for this, and it just blew my mind. The trailer was phenomenal, so much going on. The director himself, I knew, had done some amazing work, and I looked forever to find it. I couldn't see it in theaters at the time. I had to wait for it to come out on DVD, and I found it, and I bought it as soon as it came out.
It really spiced things up for you.
Okay, you're getting shot. As usual, when there's a pun, there's the pun gun. Ready? Oh, you're lucky. Next time, folks. Next time. For all your punning needs. I think we've talked about the synopsis. We'll go more into that as we break down the characters in our next segment, Characters! So, let's start off with the first character we are introduced to in the film, Detective Toshima Konakawa. And if we mispronounce that, it's going to happen a lot. Right. Yeah, we are both horrible at this, especially me. Now, we start out in what we later learn is his dream. And it's at a stakeout of sorts, at a circus. And it's very colorful, creepy almost. You don't know it's technically a dream. There are certain little hints to it.
Right.
Especially with like some of the characters, the way they talk and stuff. Yeah. And just some of the stuff going on. And then it just devolves into him being chased and going through all these different scenes from like movies and stuff.
Like different genres and all sorts of interesting stories.
this animation is just fantastic, and it goes just smoothly and just blends wonderfully together. And that is just good filmmaking right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost seamless, just the
Yeah.
transactions, and feels like how some dreams progress in a way.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what works perfectly. He's undergoing dream therapy with a device called, we later learn, is called the DC Mini. Well, he's receiving therapy from a character known as Paprika.
The title of the movie.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The titular Paprika, who adds a little bit of spice to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. I was quoting the movie, though. That is a quote.
You watch your ass.
I will. I always cock it afterwards. Alright. So, basically, he's suffering from a stress-induced recurring dream, where he's constantly chasing this guy, and he never can catch the guy.
Yeah.
This is a recurring segment throughout most of the film. You keep constantly going back to this dream.
We're led to believe that he's trying, there's this case that he just cannot solve. We're led to believe this is what's creating his dream. Don't want to spoil too much.
Oh,
but,
yes.
There's a scene where there's a guy in a hallway who's falling. And he
Constantly.
just can't seem to touch the floor.
And
then
you
there's
can't
another-
reach him either.
Yeah.
He's constantly running.
And the hallway just keeps extending. And then there's a guy who, we never see his face. He's the culprit who just runs into a thing of light and gets away.
Oh, and he always yells, "What about the ending?"
Yeah.
That is a key part to the dream.
That's very important.
So he, as we said, is being plagued by these dreams, and he's going to Paprika for help. And the DC Mini is what allows the character of Paprika to enter the patient's dreams.
Right.
We learn later on, after a very neat montage, which we'll show you a little clip of right here. We learn that she is in fact another person. She literally has just basically changed face to become Dr. Ahsoka Chiba. Now, she is interesting, I felt, because she has dual character.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Indeed. I think that's what made her very interesting, because she had a at-work demeanor. It was very no-nonsense. She is here to do a job, and she expects everyone around here to focus on the work. Whereas Paprika is a little more flirtatious, she's more playful.
Definitely.
And I think she has that persona to work more with the clients, because the clients need to be relaxed, and a more playful, fun person is easier to relax around.
I see that.
Yeah.
I also think to some degree it's also, I think there is like some sort of split personality. Maybe it's what she feels that she should be to be more open to people and stuff.
Right.
There are scenes throughout when she's actually communicating with her other self in reflections,
Yes.
such as this scene right here.
It's been a busy day running around in someone else's dream. You look tired. Want me to check in on that dream so you can get a good night's sleep? It's strange, but I haven't been having any of my own dreams lately.
That is an interesting scene.
It is.
And it's just, it makes you wonder about the characters, especially with what happens towards
Right.
the end.
Yeah.
With, well, we won't go too much into
we don't
spoilers
wanna
for
spoil
that,
it for
because
you,
this is
but
a film you just definitely have
You
to see.
should see it. But well, before we get any further, continue up our list of characters here.
Yes.
She has a relationship with one of the head scientists on this project, which is, I'm going to just call him Dr. Taquito. That's his last name. I don't remember his first name.
Tokita.
Tokita.
Yes.
Also a very good snack. I guess.
I'm tempted to use the pun gun, but it led to a good clip,
It
so
did.
we're just gonna...
Yes.
Yes, so he's the creator of the DC Mini.
Yes.
He's a genius man-child, as you said, and, well, he tends to do things, as we said, he is childish, and he is an extremely obese
He
man.
is. We're introduced to him, funny enough, he's stuck in the elevator.
Quite.
Yeah.
Yes. That scene actually does come into play later, which
Oh, does
is a
it?
very touching scene, actually, I felt.
It is.
It is, and I actually really like that aspect. The relationship that he has with some of the other characters, I felt were very, very interesting. And that's something I think Satoshi Kon does a very good job with, his characters. They are recognizable.
Yeah.
You see, they seem like stock characters sometimes.
Sometimes.
But you have elements to them that really make them stand out and make them a lot more interesting.
Yeah, they resonate. It's easy to understand what they're going through. They make it so clear.
That's all we've got for
yeah,
that.
exactly. Clear.
The next character we are introduced to is Dr. Shima. So, he is kind of a hard figure to really describe too much because there wasn't really much to him. He was friendly.
Yes.
He's friends with the detective.
He's a father figure, but
I don't know if father figure. I mean, he's kind of the friendly mentor type of sorts, but he doesn't really do it too much.
No, I think he was put in there because he was a good linchpin for the plot. Because he's the one who's the friend of the detective who got him involved in the therapy. If that's what
I think he helps try and keep everyone together in a way, so that works for him.
Yeah. So, but I mean, other than that, I don't feel like he was probably not very fleshed out, to be honest. But,
yeah.
Yeah, but
of the main heroes, he was the least fleshed out.
But I mean, he did serve a purpose he was someone to keep everyone together, to propel the plot forward. So he did have a purpose, but it was just he was probably the flattest of the characters, I would say.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he had some really funny moments, I will say. And we'll go into more of those moments in a bit.
Yes.
Then we have the chairman.
Yes.
And he's introduced after the DC Mini is discovered to be stolen.
Right.
And we're just going to show you this clip right here, because it's a great clip, and it comes in later.
It is the responsibility of man to control science and technology.
Mr. Chairman,
Intruding into another human's dream is a technological nightmare. And eventually, that kind of personal intrusion into the mind can only lead to violence. That many contraptions should never have been created.
Oh my god, I just got it.
Oh.
He's the chairman. And he's in a wheelchair. I see what you did there, Satoshi Kon. I see what you did there. I applaud you. But the pun gun.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that hurts, man. That hurts. Hey, Satoshi Kon, if you're out there.
Sorry.
That's right. We love you, man.
Yeah.
And that was a good joke. That was. I can't believe that I just got that. Wow.
Manipulating their dreams. Controlling others with this device will weaken everyone.
Sir, it's not about control. We are totally dedicated to pursuing a deeper connection with our patients to help them.
I don't imagine the terrorist who stole it shares your sentiment to be helpful.
Yeah, well, as we saw in that clip, he does not like the DC Mini.
Right.
But there's also a little scene there that, if you caught it,
Yeah.
ties in later, which I thought was a very interesting little subtle moment, which I really liked.
Yes.
And there is stuff like that in the film. There are some subtle moments where you
yeah.
see things that are fleshed out more later,
Right.
or basically just help out more.
Yeah.
It's really good like that.
It is. And I mean, eventually you actually see where he stands.
Yeah, just... Oh! Every time, I think!
Ow!
Ow! That's right, folks. The pun gun has gone off. Which means we reload and get ready for the next one.
That happens to a lot of guys.
I think it's just mostly to you. It's okay, Teddy. Leashless isn't here to mock you more.
We miss you, Lesh.
We do. The next character we are introduced to is Dr. Osanai. He's basically the kind of pretty boy of the office, sort of. He's smart,
Right.
but you can clearly tell that he's got an issue with Taketo.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
I love his name.
That's fun. Yeah. It's a fun name.
But I do kind of like the contrast between Osanai and Taketo.
Takeda.
Because Takeda, he's jealous of Takeda, which he's a pretty boy, you know. You think
Osanai is the pretty boy.
Osanai is the pretty boy. Excuse me. And but he's jealous of the not so pretty boy, the large fellow who seems like
not all there, in all honesty. He seems
Exactly.
all over the place, constantly taking stuff apart.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic, I will say.
It is.
And as I said, I think that's one of the reasons I really like Satoshi Kon's work.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just takes on tropes that you see everywhere else and flips them on their head a little bit here and there.
I thought that was awesome. That's like one of my favorite things of the movie. It was their dynamic. It was very interesting to see.
Yes. And the last character to talk about, I think, really, well, one of the last characters would be Maru, who was Taquito. We're gonna keep saying it. Taquita's assistant / friend, basically. He helped develop the DC Mini, and well, it seems that he stole it.
Oh,
yeah.
At least we're led to believe.
That's what we are led to believe. Now, the DC Mini, the issue with it is that it hasn't been properly coded, and that anyone can use it to enter anyone else's minds who have used it or been dealing with it.
Right.
Which leads to a very odd scene, which we're going to talk about, involving the mentor character of sorts.
Exactly.
You know what? We're just going to show you this clip because it has to be experienced.
I believe we are getting sidetracked. We need to find the Mini, not Paprika's bikini. This requires discipline.
Discipline?
Yes, sir. True satisfaction. That's what discipline brings. Even the 5-court ladies dancing to frog flutes and drums had it, and so did the whirlwind of recycled paper. Computer graphics playing in my head, and I like it!
To be honest, me being the non-anime guy, I saw this scene and I thought, well, this is just an anime being an anime. At first. So it's just like, I don't understand what's going on, but that's just kind of typical when I watch anime. And then he starts running for a window, and I'm like,
Shine! Shine! Take me! Take me now!
oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems a little... Well, for me, let me give you some backstory. I watched this for the first time with some friends after I bought it. They insisted on watching it in Japanese because they prefer subbed to dub. I'm either way. I want to support voice actors because I aspire to be one maybe one day. Who knows? But we're watching it in subtitles, and all of a sudden he goes off into, well, as you saw, crazy speech. Oh, wow. We paused that right away because we thought the subtitles had screwed the pooch royally.
Right.
And wouldn't be the first time we'd seen this happen. So we switched it to English, and he's still doing this! And then we watched the rest of the film in English because we're like, okay, I just want to make sure.
Right.
Wow, that scene is
certainly one of those moments where you might want to pause the movie and get Kleenex for the nosebleed that it's going to...
it just like your brain kind of melting a little bit. No, I think the brain melting is when you were introduced to the Dream Parade.
Yeah, that would do it too.
I gotta say the music is amazing. I love the music in this film.
Yeah.
That scene right there is just WTF incarnate, basically.
Yes.
It's...
Capital letters, bold, underline,
exclamation point.
Yes.
Just that. Basically, this is the dream of a delusional patient, which is being forced into the minds of anyone who's actually worked on the DC Mini and driving them insane to go do things. So, they have... Oh, it is very effective. And it becomes a very focal point of the film, because this dream is just merging dreams together, creating like a massive dreamland of sorts. And this is very dangerous for screwing with people's psyches and everything.
Yeah. I think it put a few people in a coma.
Quite a few, actually, yes. It actually almost kills Shima,
yes.
Shima. Because they actually discover that the DC Mini is missing, and our heroes go to investigate. And they go to Himura, the assistant's house, where they discover he has a bit of a fascination with dolls. And is quite possibly gay.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just a fact that ties in later.
Yeah.
And it actually does develop into some interesting character dynamics, I think, later on. And that is the danger of the DC Mini.
Yeah.
She's had some of the most exposure to it, so her dreams and reality can be accessed the easiest. So that's scary, that you don't know if reality is happening or if you're dreaming or in a trance and she's still moving and stuff. It's effective.
It's very effective. Like, I could see how it could be weaponized. If you're going to create a dream machine, you know, maybe some firewalls.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, they actually state that Taquito had... Whatever!
Taquito.
Hadn't put in the proper procedures.
Drinking game.
Yes, there you go. Every time we screw it up, take a shot.
We're getting you messed up.
Oh, we will. We will. So, we then... Well, let's see. There are two other characters we should probably mention in passing. The bartenders.
Ah!
Do they exist? Is their bar real? Apparently, they know psychology, and their alcohol gets you drunk. They are accessed through the internet. Because the internet is a lot like dreams in its own ways.
Yeah.
I.e., you will see some weird shit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll touch on them a bit more later. They were interesting. I thought that whole internet bar thing was kind of cool.
Yeah, they were a good utility, I feel.
Very, very well put.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the characters. Now we're going to go into a bit more breakdown of the actual story, and be warned, there will be...
Spoiler alert!
Now we're into spoiler territories.
Yes.
So, you've been warned. So basically, we're going to talk a bit about a few scenes and stuff that really are key to it. One would be the discovery of Himura.
Himura! That's a DC Mini.
Ouch.
Yeah, it literally is like crawling inside his brain at one point. So that's, I think, a little bit of a drawback with that technology. We also learned that, well, as we said, he has a fascination with dolls, and during the scenes when they're trying to communicate to people who are still in the dream parade, this doll character keeps popping up.
Yeah.
And as I said, we're led to believe that it's actually Himura.
It's his dream avatar.
Yes.
In a way. Yeah.
But with the discovery of his body after that, I mean, he's not dead per se, probably very badly brain damaged.
Yeah.
Well, he's been used as a scapegoat and as a toy. To the extent, we're not exactly sure. That is something that is left up to the interpretation.
It is. Which another beautiful thing about the movie is it doesn't tell you what to think.
No, it doesn't spoon feed it to you.
It does not. It's like this is the story. You interpret how you will. And that is something I absolutely loved about the movie.
It was very well written in that regards, and I trace that back to the original writer and to Satoshi Kon. His works deal a lot with psychology and just the issues of modern society.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that is a very big factor into this, and I actually applaud it for how it portrays these. So good on you, man. Another factor we must talk about is after the discovery of Himura not actually being involved, we slowly start to learn who the real culprit is. Slowly but surely, we discover that the true culprits are the chairman and
his leg man.
Onisai. And he's literally called the leg man at one point.
Yes,
so
that's not my bad pun.
That's not his bad pun. That's Satoshi
movie's.
Kon's. And as I said, a little on the nose, but good. And we discover this after basically Shiba goes to confront the chairman, and he turns into a giant walking tree. And she realizes she's in a dream. And she's being hunted by Onisai. Very trippy scene right there. It's awesome, and we have this scene where he catches her and explains his motives.
We are the chosen ones assigned to protect the integrity of man's personal dreams, which has been threatened by a technology so out of control that it has lost all perspective.
You are just so twisted.
You should understand. They are sacred like a rare treasure and are impossible to control.
Fair warning, a little bit of body horror right here.
I love you, Paprika. I love you. I love you just the way you are.
I wouldn't call that love, I'd call that obsession.
Yes.
But it is interesting that, as opposed to most of the other characters who has shown that they are mostly interested in the Paprika aspect of Chiba,
Yeah.
that he is actually almost obsessed with Chiba's personality as she presents it in the workplace.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Presenting one's true self to those around us. I mean, as I sometimes say, everybody wears a mask
Yes.
for different occasions.
Which is an interesting point,
Mhm.
because, you know, the more you think of it, I almost feel like maybe Chiba is the mask and Paprika is the...
Is the true?
Exactly.
It could be.
Yes, because I
Mhm.
think that would Chiba is a persona she would put on,
Mhm.
because this is what the workplace requires.
Mhm.
This is what she needs to be taken seriously. She is a woman in a male-dominated
Field, yes.
field, so to be taken seriously, she has to be no nonsense.
Mhm.
At least she feels this way.
I could see that.
Which I think is why she has such a beautiful relationship with Takeda.
Takeda. Take a shot, folks.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, there is that scene when we actually discover about their relationship, which is really touching.
I'm sorry.
You're a walking disaster.
I know.
You're fat and slow. You're just a mess. It's not the outside that counts. However, you really have a lot on the outside.
Yeah.
To think this century's greatest genius isn't smart enough to stop eating.
I'll swallow anything edible put in front of me.
I know. You're so open to everything. That's why you're so much fun.
It seems like that really
Yeah.
make this film work.
Exactly.
And as we said with the dual personalities of Paprika, I think towards the end there is definitely a point where she has to confront both of her personalities,
Yeah.
and in order to defeat the chairman, who, after the death of Onasai in the dream world, basically he goes nuts, and because of the connection to the DC Mini, the whole dreams start to bleed into reality, which leads to some crazy scenes like this.
And now, everyone, it's showtime!
And he slowly starts trying to become like the god of this dream
Yes.
world, is his whole point. But let's go back for just a moment to that scene when he's first introduced.
I don't imagine the terrorist who stole it shares your sentiment to be helpful.
Quick little glances right there. Those subtle little hints in it. I like that. That is good directing. It's easy to miss, but at the same time, it's like, makes you think.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked that. That was something I really enjoyed. And we learned that the reason Onasai was working for him was because, well, basically, as he stated earlier, he sold his body to the chairman to get access to the DC Mini and Chiba. So that was his motivations. But there's another we should talk about, another really interesting fact that ties throughout the film. That Detective Konakawa, he has issues with movies and filmmaking. And as we learn throughout the film, it's because when he was younger, he wanted to be a filmmaker. And he actually knows a lot about it.
What is the action line that clown was talking about?
It's an imaginary shooting line used to place subjects before the camera. Here, the camera mustn't cross over the line. If it does, then the cut can't be matched up. It's reversed. I'll give you a little demonstration. Watch. See what happens? You're facing the opposite direction.
And what is pan focus?
Well, it's an ability of the camera to create a large depth of field by reducing the aperture so that medium and long-range shots are in focus.
That's actually really informative, and I thought that was fascinating. And when I watch certain films now, I actually do notice that.
Yeah, it really touched with me because, you know, I'm an indie filmmaker myself. Yeah. That part, like, the character really, really resonated with me.
I liked him. He was very cool. Well, I wouldn't say cool, but he was very enjoyable.
He was.
Finding out the story behind him and everything.
Exactly.
And the film he was actually making in it, ties into the case, and it's left up to your imagination to some degree. Like, was there actually a case he was working on, or was it in fact just all part of his stress-induced dream and whatnot? And it's fascinating how it comes about. It's
Yeah.
it's a really,
Yeah.
really cool dynamic. And, well, the ending is just something you've got to see for
It
yourself.
is.
We're not going to touch too much more on that. It's a great film overall, like that.
Oh.
So we're going to move on to our next topic. We talked about it a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
hinted at it so much. Paprika, 2006, and Inception in 2010 or so, maybe?
I think so.
Well, there was supposed to be a live-action version of Paprika made by Wolfgang Peterson, but unfortunately, Christopher Nolan released Inception, which, as you may or may not know, deals with people using a dream machine to enter people's dreams and implant
sounds
memories
familiar.
and stuff. Yeah, gee, I wonder.
Huh.
So, what do you guys think? Do you think it's a ripoff? I mean, I enjoy both these films, but I can see the comparison. Some people have said, yes, it's a definite ripoff, some not so much. But we want to know in the comments below. Post your thoughts. Do you think Christopher Nolan kind of ripped off Paprika? If so, let us know. We want to hear your thoughts. Get back to us, and maybe we'll talk about it more in some other videos.
Is Paprika cuter than Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, that's a tough one. You decide. Moving on to interpretations. We mentioned this earlier. That's, I think, one of the beautiful things about this film. There's a lot you can interpret into it.
Exactly.
Like, what parts are dreams, what parts are actually reality,
Yes.
how real are the things that are going on, and who's in the right sometimes.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, clearly, the chairman was not in the right with, killing and all that fun stuff, or unfun stuff, depending on your moral alignments. Just saying. But it does lead to some interesting thought processes, and just the interpretations of the dreams themselves.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. And whether or not everything we know about the detective, because you never really know. It's never really explained. But that's the thing. It's a film that makes you think. You don't need to explain everything. You just need to explain enough to get the viewers thinking.
Yeah.
And I applaud Satoshi Kon for that. I'm fanboying right now. I really am. It's one of my favorite films.
That's what was my favorite thing about the movie was it didn't say this is what you should take out of this. It let you take what you felt out of the movie. It made you think.
Yeah.
I like movies that make me think.
I think that's the best way of putting it, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so, some trivia. Well, we mentioned the bartenders earlier. Well, in the original Japanese version, the tall and short bartenders from Paprika's websites were actually voiced by Satoshi Kon himself and the author of the original novel.
Oh.
So, that's kind of cool. The score was composed by Susumu Hirasawa, which we're going to post his name right here, because I'm butchering names today. It's what I do. But yes, he's most famous for, internationally I would say, for his work on Satoshi Kon's films. He's done them for Millennium Actress, Paranoia Agent, and Paprika. He also worked on some music for Berserk. So, another fact that we should bring up is at the very end, Konakawa is told to go see some movies. And it is posters for Satoshi Kon's other films, and possibly a film that was going to be his next. I believe it was called The Dreaming Kids, or, as his actual film was going to be called, The Dream Machine. And now we move on to Satoshi Kon and his legacy. Well, this was, as we said, his last film, and unfortunately he passed away in 2010 due to pancreatic cancer. There was one last film, as we mentioned, that he was in fact working on, The Dream Machine. Sadly, the film has gone unfinished, with only 600 of about 1,500 shots still needing to be animated. Yeah, so about 900 shots left to animate. I believe some people at Madhouse Studios, the people behind the film, said that they definitely want to finish it, but it's been in limbo ever since.
Yeah.
I would love to see this come out. Since his death, a book has been released, a collection of his art and just about him in general.
Oh, yeah.
I would really like to see that. I think it's The World or The Art of Satoshi Kon.
No, look out for that.
Look it up for that. It's an awesome book. I can highly recommend it. I've seen it, but I haven't bought it yet. A little low on funds. But the film itself has been very well received. It's considered by many to be one of the best anime films around. It's, I think, in the top 50 animated films of all times, according to Rotten Tomatoes. It has a solid 7.7% on IMDb out of 10.
Oh.
And truth be told, I just love this film. So we're moving on directly into our final thoughts. I can highly recommend this film. It is the magnum opus of one of my all-time favorite directors, and I think one of the greatest anime directors in recent memory. I really do. I have always enjoyed his work, and I cannot praise his work enough. That's what I think.
And my thought is, as not an anime guy, I really enjoyed it, and I really, being a psychology buff myself, I really loved getting to know these characters, how they thought, what their concerns were, and how they came together to solve an issue. I would highly recommend this film too. If you like kind of stuff that makes you think, I do. So.
Do you like surreal weirdness, awesome animation, great music, and a damn good story? Well, this is the movie for you. Check it out. You can find it in links below. We hope you enjoyed the review. If you have, oh, you wouldn't have watched it all the way through. Please click like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have a Facebook group, so check them out for more awesome content. And we hope you've enjoyed our Dream Month. We know we have. So, as usual, I'm Stu.
Teddy D.
And we are Animation Triad.